Okay, so now we're looking at Donya Fortress, and as I've said, this is one of my favourite maps because it's just really gorgeous to look at. Everything about it is so beautifully designed, but it's also a very complicated map, so I'm not really going to be able to show too many specific positions because in a game, you know, it's just going to be random as to where you really find people, but I'll do my best to sort of cover anything that I think is really important. So first, let's look at the very basement level. This is the main courtyard, okay? And in the middle we have this little gazebo-like temple thing, okay? And off of that, the way that you can get down to B is this hole in the ground. And people often don't know how to get down into this area. So if you're in the outside, just look for this. You should have the Overwatch area on your right and the C construction area on your left. And you come down into here, and we can see that we've got the B flag right there, and there's two other points in and out. Now you've got to be a little bit careful with this because as you cap this, this is a favourite for people placing C4. And I was in a game, and I had a guy who basically was just placing C4 all over it, as I've said on another map, and he was hiding in this corner here, and he would just blow the C4 and then reload it all. So watch out for that. Okay, this staircase leads us up back onto the ground floor, as does the other one. So let's take this route up. And this leads us into this kind of basically the kitchen cooking area here, and we've got some destroyed building above. People will drop down through here. Leads us back out to the courtyard as well. Coming through this way from the kitchen, okay, you've got this whole large open area out here, and there's another area here. If you can't find people, you're playing team deathmatch. I was in a team deathmatch game the other evening, and there was about 3-4 guys, obviously a squad, and what they did was they just locked down this little area and they were just camping it. And obviously from here you can get in some positions that will allow you to cover people coming in and coming out. So if you get some people locking this down, it's important that you dig them out quickly because it can be really horrible to try and, you know, move on, you know, do well in the map. Also got a lot of these destroyed bombs. You could call this possibly the crash site, as obviously I think this was a jet at one time. Little balcony over here, crash site balcony. Okay, once we're up on this floor, it leads us round to C. And C is really the construction area, the main construction area of the site. You can see there's a lot of sort of building going on and building materials. C can be a tricky one. You'll often get a lot of fighting in C because it's like a little arena in here. You've got the ground floor and the first floor, and people obviously shoot down, fire down on top of each other, throw grenades, throw RPGs. And a lot of the times when you cap, you can just go prone really quick, cap it up. But again, I was in a game and I had someone doing this. They were sort of sitting in this back corner here, C4ing the target, so you need to be careful of these C4ers. And you've got two main staircases up out of C. And people often as well hide in these little alcoves here. They love to hide in these. Leads us back up to the top. That's where we came from. This is the other side. You've got a little sort of conference area here. And that leads us back out. Now this is the main balcony. And this runs around to the right hand side of A. And it leads back over here to the crash site and Overwatch. This is the destroyed area, leads down to the kitchen. This balcony leads us across to A. And you've got the V sort of balcony here, split level. Leads us back down to the courtyard, two different directions. You can get into A from two directions. This side or the other side, they're basically symmetrical. And you want to watch out again, claymores here, C4 here, and the A flag. Obviously once you're at the A flag, you can then, you know, just continue, jump out, carry on, you'll be straight onto C. So you can move around this map very quickly, even though it seems very complicated. You can, you know, it's quite a direct route from C to A and to B. So if you want to outflank people, then you can use these, you know, the very, very exterior routes. but if you want to just be very direct, then you can move straight across this courtyard area. It just depends how the game is playing out. Okay, here we've got what I like to call a little lover's nest. You've got a little bench there. This is the garden. I suppose you could call this the little garden area. And we've got a back staircase here. And this leads us back, basically, towards the C area, conference area here. So if you're coming up from C, you're moving towards A and the rest of the map. As you come out here towards the balcony, you always want to have a little look to your right, because people will often be coming from this direction. Usually, when I'm coming from C, if I hear footsteps around here, I will usually just kind of slow down and just wait, because often there'll be people coming right from there. And up here as well, we've got another little balcony area. And this leads us over to here. You can see this route, okay? So that's C, that's the corridor from the C stairs. And then we come into here. You've got another route across to the main map. You've got your balcony over the lover's garden. And then staircases leading back down, back up. You can see that this map really is a maze. It's quite a labyrinth of corridors, and it might be a little bit complicated for me to explain in this one, but you will get the hang of it. Okay, so we're on the first floor. We're going back down, okay? Garden is on our left. Courtyard on our right. And again, this is the kind of sort of construction. And then we've got a staircase leading down. This leads to kind of like a pool area. Or you could call this like a spa. This is a staircase which leads us down, back to B. So again, everywhere is interlinked, multiple routes to get everywhere. You just need to understand and create a mental map for yourself. We've got a staircase from there which comes up, leads us to C. So again, coming from this side, okay, coming from here, you can get very quickly to C or to B. This is why I love this map, because it's complicated. It gives you the most choices, the most options, and the best ways to move around the map. But it is a bit tricky to get your head around to begin with. But once you've got it, it's quite simple. From the kitchen, okay, this is leading us back down corridors to B. And that's nearly this map covered, to be honest. I don't think there's a huge amount more to show. So it's not that complicated really, but there's just a huge amount of split levels. And obviously these open areas, you want to be a bit careful when you're moving around, you're very exposed. It's got a domed roof, so you can call the C area dome if you want to. Okay, that's pretty much it. As I say, this map is really it's too spread out and complicated to show any real specific routes or placements for things. You'll find that as you go. It tends to be quite a manic sort of free-for-all runaround, and the fact that it's so split level. These doors, by the way, again, so I should have said this, leads out through to the crash site. It is one of my favourite maps. It's the most fluid of all the maps, and I think that's because you do have these different areas all the way through. But once you get used to moving fast around the map, you can cap up those flags quick, you can engage them quick, you can get around and, you know, take them out. Watch always for people hiding. You get a lot of people hiding in bushes and so on and so on. Okay, so that's my little overview of this map. It's a bit complicated, so that was a bit of a more sporadic review than some of the other ones, but I hope it's been a help. Thanks for watching, guys.